But when we got to get down to the nitty gritty and get some answers, I send out the bat signal, and there's a guy who I could always rely on that's going to come through for us. And that's my guy, Ian Begley, basketball insider for SNY TV. Ian, live and direct from Las Vegas, man. Thanks for joining us, man.
CP, I love the studio, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Blue Wire Studio. We got the custom-made backdrop. Shout out to Gamba, who's been a valuable asset to our team. But definitely thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it looks great. When I first logged in, I was like, is CP in the boom boom room? I saw the highlights and everything. It looks good.
It's looking great, man. Appreciate it, man. So, yeah, as I said, obviously we are out here in Summer League, but the Mitchell stuff has taken us over. What's the latest that you're hearing in terms of the trade and, any trade packages that have come about lately?
Yeah, CP, I don't know. You guys might have lost my picture, but can you still hear me?
Did we lose Ian?
You got me?
We got Ian?
Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
You guys can hear me. I'll work on the video, but
okay, yeah, go ahead.
The
Ian.
latest that I was hearing was that the Knicks and the Jazz, they had been in touch even before the Knicks had finalized their free agency contracts with their free agents. And now, the Mitchell Robinson deal, I don't know when the Knicks tweeted it, but the contract was on the books or fully announced today. But I think they announced the deal a couple of days ago. But before that, they were talking, and the Jazz had asked for a lot, and they had asked for a package that included Mitchell Robinson and other players and at least 3 first-round picks. And the Knicks thought that was just too high. Like they didn't want to go there. And so I know the Athletic reported that the Knicks and Jazz touched base, I guess 48 hours ago at this point. And what I see when you look at the full board is I think that the Jazz, they can't have Donovan Mitchell on the roster going into training camp. My read on it is they're looking to, play for the draft next year. So I think they'll be motivated at least by the deadline of training camp. And you've got Miami and you've got the Knicks interested. And I think depending on how things shake out, I know some people with the Nets like Donovan Mitchell a lot, see him as a potential acquisition. So the Knicks are going to have competition. But Utah, as we noted a couple of days ago, their focus is on draft picks. And the Knicks can offer more draft picks in a trade than just about any team in the NBA. So I would think it's a cat and mouse game right now. It's figuring out who's going to come off of the hard stance they're taking and who's going to meet what Danny Ainge wants, or is Danny Ainge going to come down a little bit? But I think that's where we are, just kind of figuring out who's going to blink first and who's going to seal the deal, whether it's Miami, Brooklyn, the Knicks, or maybe a mystery team. But I have a hard time seeing the Jazz start training camp with Donovan Mitchell at this point.
Now, you mentioned Brooklyn, and today's news kind of shocked me in that DeAndre Ayton signed an offer sheet with the Pacers. How do you think that impacts things? Number one, on the KD front, but a possible Mitchell to the Nets. A lot of people speculated that there may be a 4-team trade between the Suns, the Pacers, the Nets, and the Jazz to make that happen. But now Ayton signs the offer sheet with the Pacers. How do you think that impacts things?
Yeah, in a big way. I mean, listen, that takes that avenue out of those multi-team deals that everybody was, kind of speculating on. And then with the Nets, obviously, you can't trade for Donovan Mitchell and have Ben Simmons on your roster. NBA rules prohibit that. So you're looking at needing to move off of Ben Simmons if you want to acquire Donovan Mitchell if you're the Nets. And you just lost a potential avenue in Phoenix to create that multi-team deal. So it definitely changes the board a little bit when you talk about all these teams with the moving pieces. But in another big picture sense, Utah, I think, was a team that was mentioned in those multi-team situations as well. And you look at where they are now, and it seems like they're more lined up for a 2-team deal, 1 team and them with Mitchell, and maybe Miami could get a 3rd team involved if they can try to acquire extra draft picks. Maybe that bolsters what they can offer Danny Ainge in a Mitchell deal. I'm sure Danny Ainge is going to hold out until he gets very close to what he wants. I do believe that the Knicks are comfortable with the idea of giving up a couple of their young players and a significant amount of picks if it means getting Mitchell. And I think just again, it's about meeting somewhere in the middle for these teams. And the other thing with Brooklyn in general is I'd heard they were having a hard time finding teams that would help them facilitate those multi-team deals, whether it was a Durant deal, an Irving deal, a deal that where Mitchell ended up back in Brooklyn. I'd heard that there was teams that they had found that teams were pretty unwilling to help them facilitate those moves. So just an interesting time for both pro teams in New York right now.
No question. And we're talking to Ian Begley, NBA insider with SNY TV. Salute to Knicks Nation, KnicksFanTV Live, presented by Manscaped, live from Las Vegas. Ian, we did lose your video. The guys in the control room are saying if you can just drop out of it and hit the link again, we'll get your camera back up.
Do that.
Yeah. We need Ian live and on video, man, live and in living color. There's J.R. Smith walking by the studio. I don't know if you guys were able to see him. He probably didn't have him in the shot, but that boy Earl is in the building here in Las Vegas. Shout out to J.R. Smith doing a lot of big things. Brian, just let me. Okay, so we got Ian back in now. Ian, you know the Knicks did go out and they got Jalen Brunson, and you wrote an article in SY speaking on the fact that this was going to be a big acquisition for Leon Rose's legacy here with the team. Now Spider Mitchell comes into the picture. From your perspective, did you feel like, this was always a plan to get both of these guys, or did the Knicks kind of rush into the Brunson thing, given that the fallout from Utah was gonna lead to this thing breaking up at some point?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all knew Donovan Mitchell was on their radar, and so, but I was skeptical about their ability to get Donovan, and I was skeptical about Utah's, willingness to engage the Knicks on Donovan. But now, you see where things are at the moment, and I guess my skepticism was unwarranted because they're here and they're in the middle of I have a pretty good chance, I think, of landing him via trade. So I don't know if it was always the plan to land these two specifically in this offseason, but we know these players have been on their radar. And, now I think you're Leon Rose, you've delivered at least in part on the idea that you were going to bring a big name to the Garden if you land Donovan Mitchell. Is it the perfect pairing? No, but I don't think any pairing that you were going to bring in, given where the Knicks are coming from, was going to be perfect. It puts you in a really strong position if you show that you're an ascending team and bring in somebody else at some point. So to me, the Brunson move was a make or break move for Leon Rose, and it was about many things for me. One of them was, what happens next. If what happens next is you're bringing in Donovan Mitchell, to me that's a pretty strong move for this front office, and you've put yourself in a position where if things break right, you should succeed and at least be a perennial playoff team.
Okay.
Oh, brutal. I'm coming back.
We have Ian. Ian, you still there? Okay, we lost Ian's video again. Salute to Knicks Nation, KnicksFanTV Live from Las Vegas. CP the franchise here. We are talking to Ian Begley regarding the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors to the Knicks. We have Ian's audio back. We lost Ian's connection. So, okay. Yeah, so we'll see if we can get Ian back up here. But how do you guys feel in the chat with these Mitchell rumors coming about? No RJ in the deal. Okay, so yeah. All right, Ian. So just a couple more questions before we wrap. We were talking on the Mitchell trade. RJ Barrett contract extension, rookie max deal. Where do things stand between he and the Knicks at this point?
Yeah, I think there's still optimism on both sides. I heard that earlier in the offseason, and I haven't heard anything to kind of dissuade me from feeling that way. I think that let's get through the Donovan Mitchell talks, whatever they end up as, whether it's Mitchell coming here or not. And I think then at that point, the Knicks have until the day before the regular season to get something done with RJ Barrett. I think that they're optimistic. I think Barrett's side is optimistic that something will get done. What the final number is, I don't know what it'll be. I would assume that it's somewhere less than a max, but I think it'll be solid money, and I think you'll get to a place where both sides are happy. That's the motivation right now, at least. I can't see any scenario where that changes. We talked a lot about R.J. Barrett and the Knicks being really unwilling to include him in any trade, including in this trade with Utah. And I think that is still the case. At least everything that I had heard was, RJ being included. I think I'm not going to say that it was a uniform opinion through everybody in that Knicks organization that he, can't be put in this deal. But I'd heard that at least earlier today, that there was no appetite to put him in there. So to me, that tells you all you need to know about how the Knicks feel about what they can do with Barrett in terms of that long-term extension. I would assume too that there's a wariness of not getting something done before the season and letting Barrett play through year 4, go into restricted free agency, because a lot of that is out of your control. Obviously, you can retain him in restricted free agency, but the ill feelings that may arise. I think there's a hope to avoid all that and get something done.
KnicksFanTV Live, presented by Manscaped. CP the franchise here. We're talking to NBA insider Ian Begley of SNY TV. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Ian, last question for you. The Mitchell Robinson and Jalen Brunson contract terms were revealed, and both on descending deals as the years go on. What are we to glean in terms of how those contracts were structured and how that sets the Knicks up for the future?
Well, I think that what you're looking at here is a couple of years down the line, the new TV deal maybe kicks in for the league, and then that increases the salary cap, and that puts the Knicks in position to take more advantage of that increase than they would have if they structured the deals as ascending, as most deals are. So this to me seems like the Knicks looking ahead and seeing that cap number potentially raising up very high in the next few years, and being ready for that scenario. And also, listen, if things don't go well on some of these deals and you're looking to get out of that deal later in the contract, it becomes an easier contract to deal, obviously, if the numbers are descending. So there are several reasons why that's a team-friendly move. And to me, I haven't seen much of it from the Knicks in the past, I guess. So I would credit the cap people with New York, I guess, starting with Brock Aller, for that happening. And to me, it makes a lot of sense from a team perspective. So kudos to them for getting it done. Obviously, Brunson, the player option, that's great for him. Gives him some flexibility. Hartenstein, I think 5% trade kicker, which is not super significant. But nonetheless, seems like well-structured deals for New York.
Absolutely, man. Well, Ian, man, I always appreciate you giving us some time, man. We want to throw the bat signal out there. It's a very busy time right now. Appreciate the time you've given us. Ian, your boy CP the franchise was back in the locker room getting some player interviews after the Knicks Summer League game. I was on the beat like Clark Kent, man. You would have been proud of me, man.
I like it, CP. I like it, bro. I only hope that one day we could both be in the garden in those locker rooms asking questions together. I hope, fingers crossed for that. But I can't wait to see what you dug out of that locker room, Clark Kent style. Salute, my friend. Always great talking to you.
Salute to you, man. Enjoy the weekend, and looking forward to hopefully some breaking news soon. Thanks again, Ian.
Thanks, CP.